Oh, hey there guys. Oh, that? Don't mind it. I'm just watching a video about someone making essentially an hour-long documentary on the Sonic movie 2 that totally did not get blasted over proportion simply because someone gave their own opinion on it. As you are probably aware, Sonic movie 2 came out last weekend, basically being one of the best video game live adaptations to sell and being the #1 in the world currently. Even though Morbius is technically considered #1 according to Sony Pictures, but I can't really say on that subject. And so this also means that a lot of people are giving their critique on Sonic movie 2, some saying that it is now the standard for any live action video game movie moving forward, and others are simply saying that, this movie was aight. Which is what we're doing too. I mean, I got you guys watching this far for you guys to wait and see what I have to say about Sonic movie 2, right? And I don't even have my Sonic suit on for this, which... Speaking of, give me a second here. Wait a minute, this ain't right. Let me do it again. Yeah. Now this feels a lot better. Now we can continue on with the show. I can't believe this is now my life. Before we begin though, I hope that you guys are aware that I will be spoiling this movie for you if you have not watched it yet. So go watch it, and if you are those that just don't really care, well then I'm letting you know now. I'll be spoiling the post-credit, the second half, all the Easter eggs and references they've had for this movie, because I mean, let's be honest, it's already been 8 days into its release. I'm sure all that stuff has already been out on the internet. That being said, let's get this show on the road here and talk about my totally opinionated Sonic movie 2 review and experience that I'm sure no one is going to trash talk and blow this out of proportions. No, seriously, please don't do that. Like, this is all opinionated. Like, let's be respectful here. So the beginning of the movie, it felt very standard, you know, it wasn't really fast, but it was kind of slowly pacing its way in terms of its exposition. I like the Eggman and Knuckles encounter in the beginning of the movie. Obviously, what we saw in the trailers, the beginning of the movie was clearly Sonic, you know, trying to stop a bomb threat in the city and doing somewhat of a good job before obviously it went all haywire and almost chaos from Sonic Adventure style in terms of the explosion. So the beginning of the movie was very nice. I also liked the first encounter with Sonic and Knuckles where, you know, Knuckles was like doing the whole "do I look like I need your power?" and that whole fight scene, which basically kind of blew up the Wachowskis' house. Like, that was the whole thing. But overall, the beginning of the movie was very nice. It had a nice pace to it. You get to see more of like the Sonic, the Tom and Maddie interactions and sort of like how they view him as, which is not like a pet, but more so like how Chris saw Sonic and Sonic X like a friend and perhaps even a family member. So that's sort of like the beginning, and obviously we can't forget about Tails, you know, first moment and how he, you know, showed up and then how he rescued Sonic from Knuckles during the whole first encounter, and just them like immediately being friends from the get-go. And it was just incredible. The beginning of the movie was slow, but it was very nice to see the expedition sort of lay itself out for the rest of the movie to follow through. Then we had like the midway point, which was sort of like the ice cap, the snow area, and then the Hawaii midsection, and then obviously the rest of that up until Angel Island, which was okay. And the reason I say it's okay because it was your typical Sonic style of, you know, the adventure experience setting and all that, and there was a bunch of Easter eggs around that too, like during the Russian, the Siberian, you know, dancing scene. Sonic did the Sonic Adventure pose, which was very cool. It did feel a lot like the first movie though, where Tom and Sonic were in the bar area, so it was just with Tails in that aspect. But the ice area, the snow region, and them finding out like the location of the Master Emerald in terms of like the compass thing, it was a pretty nice touch up again the Sonic Adventure elements where, you know, Station Square, Mystic Ruins had like their own little hidden, you know, adventures and treasures for us to encounter and learn about Chaos, learn about the Chaos Emeralds, you know, and to call. So again, nice callbacks to Sonic Adventure, as well as also integrating the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and 3 elements, specifically with Knuckles, you know, being a part of Eggman, not because, you know, he understands Eggman or anything. This is Knuckles we're talking about. Knuckles just wants to protect the Master Emerald. He just wants to fulfill his purpose and destiny, and that is, again, to protect the Master Emerald from harm. And he thinks that Eggman is in the right in this. Well, we all know Eggman wants to utilize it for his own gain, and that is what I love. Like, Jim Carrey truly steals the show as Eggman here, and we see it in this sort of midway point. But the problem with the midway point, though, is that you know, we had the Hawaii intersection where it felt like shoehorned in and didn't really have much of like a good element to it up until the point where Sonic needed to, you know, have an escape route with the whole avalanche section and sort of trying to rescue himself and Tails. So the Hawaii section didn't really feel like a part of Sonic. It was just sort of there. But everything else up until that point was fantastic. And the Angel Island area with the Labyrinth Zone, you know, mix, and the second Sonic and Knuckles fight there, and then the Sonic saving Knuckles, and then the drowning theme, and just the whole idea that Sonic can't swim. So when he was going to Angel Island, he was very scared because he couldn't swim, and then Knuckles saving him after Sonic saved him. Second, like the halfway point of the movie was amazing, but nothing pales in comparison to the third act of this movie, which is just incredible. Truly, truly incredible. But before we go to the third act though, I want to talk about like the character development and the interactions, because the one thing that I enjoyed a lot from Sonic movie 2 than the first Sonic movie was the Sonic interactions, and that's what made me appreciate the movie a lot more so than the first one, because the first one felt like a buddy cop movie as expecting an extraterrestrial or a being of sorts shows up and a cop shows up, they meet up, and you know there's whole like the whole cliches and blah blah blah, and then they immediately go home. But they either go home or they realize, you know what, I got a family here, I want to stay here, and then there's like sequels about like Hop. You guys ever remember that movie, which also had, you know, Tom's actor in it? So that's what Sonic movie 1 felt, but Sonic movie 2 actually felt like a Sonic movie experience. It actually felt like it was almost as if you were playing the games in real time, and that's something that I really enjoyed, because Tom Fowler truly made sure to stick to the source material in some aspects and to kind of let loose with it, as we saw with the Labyrinth Zone, Angel Island, you know, mix up, as we saw with the sort of ice cap area with the Sonic Adventure and Sonic 3 elements. There was so much that felt like I am watching a Sonic movie and not just something that happens to have Sonic in it. And another thing that I loved about it that makes me see the movie in this way was the Tails and Knuckles character interactions as well. Tails and Knuckles in the movie are basically what they were before they decided to make them dumb and useless. For example, Tails in Sonic Forces and Knuckles in Sonic Boom. No. They made sure that they stuck to what actually were their characters back then, and that was from like Sonic X, that was from Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, Sonic Hero, Shadow the Hedgehog to a degree, which we'll talk about with the post-credit because that was mind-blowing. Point is, Tails and Knuckles truly felt like a caliber above the Roger Craig era Smith of Sonic. Like, Colleen did a fantastic job as Tails, and Idris Elba did such a phenomenal work at portraying a Knuckles that works well, and I would love to see that in the games too. Like, he did phenomenal, and I couldn't be more happier to see like Knuckles being like this foreign character, like what is base of ball towards the baseball scene at the end, and him just having fun and wondering if he can have grapes on his ice cream, and then he's just so excited at the thought of sprinkles at the end. Like, I love Knuckles and Tails in this movie. I love their interactions. I love Sonic in this movie too as well, because he learned a lot from the first movie, and he learns a lot in this movie as to who he is as a hero and who he is in terms of like the Blue Blurb Speed himself. Also, I cannot forget about Jim Carrey, Eggman. He did phenomenal. Agent Stone as well. Lee and Jim Carrey truly carry on the villain presence of this movie compared to the first movie. The second movie truly felt like Eggman is on the verge of insanity, and he's just like, whoa, I'm gonna get that hedgehog, and he succeeds in the third act to some degree, and he's just like, I have obtained the Master Emerald, I'm gonna, you know, obtain omnipotent power and all that. Like, I love Jim Carrey's, you know, mannerisms to the Eggman character, to the Eggman persona. And even though he says that he's retiring, I do hope he comes back for the Sonic movie 3, because there's a lot that movie is going to provide in terms of lore, and maybe we're gonna see a lot more characters in that movie too. It also depends on how much they're willing to flesh out there, but overall, Jim Carrey, phenomenal Eggman like he was in the first movie, and he truly like dialed it to 11 in the second one with his mannerisms, his way of speech, and just being that crazy egghead of a villain. And so now this leaves us with the third act of the movie, where personally was my favorite, but it did feel a little rushed. It felt way too fast and way too, fast paced for a Sonic movie, ironically enough. But what I did enjoy besides that was the whole bit with Tails, Sonic, and Knuckles working together. And it reminded me a lot of Sonic Heroes. And I even sang the song when I was watching the movie. I even sang, Sonic Heroes, Sonic Heroes, when they were, banding together like Avenger style in a little circle and then just, fighting it. There are a bunch of Sonic Hero Easter eggs as well in terms of like their team up mechanic. Like, Knuckles throws Sonic like a ball like he does in Sonic Heroes, where he does like the power dunks. Then there's Tails doing like a spinning helping thing. Like, that third act was amazing, but what made it so special was that, again, they utilized the lore of Sonic, and we see Sonic being Super Sonic towards the end against the Death Egg. And I think that was something that happens in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, where if you collect all the Chaos Emeralds, you get to turn to Super Sonic, and then you get the ending where Sonic is flying as Super Sonic, and then Tails is there like, yeah, go Sonic! And then that kind of segues to Sonic 3. I love that a lot. I love the design of Super Sonic. I mean, it's just him in the gold Super Saiyan-esque style of aesthetics, but it was amazing to see that moment. And when he speaks to Robotnik, to Eggman, I don't know if people felt this way, but it reminded me of Sonic Unleashed in the opening, where Sonic turns to Super Sonic. He's like, hey, it's over, Eggman. You already lost. There's no point. Just go. And then he just tips Eggman's entire Death Egg in the bottom. It was truly a badass moment. And I just love how when Knuckles was like, he is no longer the same Sonic as you once knew. And then he just like, yeah, bet. And he just summons a giant, like a chili dog. He summons a chili dog with a Super Saiyan powers. How Sonic can you get with that? Like, oh man, amazing. And then there's, again, like I mentioned, the baseball segment, which was fun. I love that because, again, it demonstrates the character interactions and the development. And I love how Sonic sees, the Wachowski sees Tom and Maddie as a family, and that's why he calls them dad at the end, which kind of like felt really nice, because we have to consider that this Sonic doesn't really have a parental figure, and so throughout the movie he doesn't see Tom as that. He constantly sees Tom as a friend rather than a parent that's doing the responsibility of taking care of an intergalactic, multi-dimensional blue hedgehog. Not just that, but now a two-tailed fox and a buff echidna. Like, this family is just incredible. And again, it also reminds me a lot of Sonic X in terms of like, they establish this family dynamic, this friendship, and I can't wait to see what else they have for the rest of the movies, especially for Sonic Movie 3. Lastly, but most importantly, there was the post-credit scene. And the post-credit scene was like, when they said 50 years, because you have to understand, like in Sonic Movie 2, they established GUN, gun. And gun was a thing in Shadow the Hedgehog Sonic Adventure 2, where they've been around for almost 50 years. So it was pretty weird to see that, like, GUN has just been established after the events of the first movie, but then all of a sudden there's the whole research thing of 50 years ago, which was Project Shadow. And yeah, I spoiled the post-credit scene, but I told you, if you made it this far, I am spoiling everything about this movie. I mean, look how long the video has been already. So yeah, Project Shadow the Hedgehog is a part of this universe now. And the fact that as soon as they said 50 years, I remember my theater gasped at the like, oh, 50 years like Shadow. And then when Shadow was introduced, the theater was roaring. Every kid, parent, everybody that fell in love with Sonic, they popped off when they saw Shadow's design for the movie, when they saw Shadow. So post-credit demonstrates a lot that we might get a lot of Sonic Adventure 2 vibes for the Sonic Movie 3, but we'll have to wait and see, because for a trilogy to immediately have Shadow in and not just have, a few bunch of movies on the side, like sure, we're gonna have like the Knuckles spin-off for Paramount Pictures and stuff, but the fact that Sonic Movie 3 is going to dive into Sonic Adventure 2, plot lines and story elements, demonstrates that we could have, Amy Rose, we could have, Rouge the Bat show up. Again, we don't know about Jim Carrey, but just the fact that Shadow is here shows that there is going to be an amazing fight against Sonic and Shadow in that movie. And if the Sonic versus Knuckles first and second encounter were incredible, as well as the Death Egg final fight, oh man, imagine the possibilities for the third movie. Overall, since you can tell how long this video has been now, I loved this movie. This movie isn't perfect, there are flaws in it, but the amount of Easter eggs that didn't feel forced, the amount of references that felt natural, it flowed easily, the disposition and the exposition of the movie, like, it felt like a nice movie experience. It reminded me of the days of, you know, like when we go to Marvel, when we saw, you know, Spider-Man No Way Home, or, you know, the Avenger movies. It had that atmosphere in it, it had that vibes, and it didn't really feel like a kid's movie, because I do remember that these movies feel targeted for children, but it felt like a movie for everybody. It felt like a movie for Sonic fans, and that's what I enjoyed a lot from this movie compared to the first movie, because it naturally dived into the essence of what makes a Sonic game so fun to play, and what makes the lore of Sonic so fascinating in terms of its characters, its character development and interactions, and just overall what to expect in terms of, you know, fight scenes, action scenes, and just the humor that Sonic constantly provides in all of his adventures. And I can't wait, like I said, for the third movie, because there's so much to look forward to there, and there's so much material they can dive into. And my one worry with that is that they might rush into things with it, but we'll have to wait and see there. All I know is that go watch this movie. Sonic Movie 2 was an amazing, amazing experience. Truly one worth, you know, just watch the movie. It's amazing. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. If you've already watched it, watch it again. It is an amazing experience that I just, I have no words. And now we come to a close, ladies and gentlemen, and phew, I am tired as well as hungry. Like, I could use something to eat right about now. Not chili dogs, but I'll figure what I can eat down the line. For now though, I hope you guys really enjoyed this totally opinionated Sonic Movie 2 review. And as always, thank you guys so much for all the support. Remember guys, stay safe out there, spread love and kindness into the world, improve yourselves each and every day, and know that I love you guys forever and always to 120. See you guys next time, stay freaking sexy, and take care.